tell, I am ready for business today. Today I am going to be doing a fake, hypothetical declutter of my Viseart and Dior palettes. Now that being said, it might turn into a real declutter because I actually feel like I have some Dior palettes that maybe I'll be able to part with, maybe. I know some people don't like the fake or hypothetical declutters. Really just the point of it is being able to go through and look at my collection of every single item in those two brands that I have of palette-wise and giving you my thoughts and reviews. That's the purpose of this. It's not to trick you. It's literally just to have an excuse to go through my makeup and talk about it. But I'm putting myself, as I have done with other brands in the past, in the situation like a robber has entered my house, popped a gun right here and said, give me some of your Viseart and Dior palettes. And so if that situation were to occur, these would be the palettes that I would give to the robber. Yeah? Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. The drawer is unorganized, so get ready. Okay, it's also kind of a mess, so this is gonna be really great for organization. Let's go ahead and get started with the Dior because honestly, I feel like there's a good number that I could get rid of because most, not all, but most of my Dior collection is limited edition because the limited edition ones have the prettiest embossing. So let me show you. So this first one right here is Nightbird, and actually this is one of my favorite palettes from Dior. It was from a limited edition collection, but this one I had no quality issues with, so I would keep this one. Next, we have Coral Glow, which honestly is very pretty, but it's not worth the money. It's very plain for what it gives you. It lacks pigmentation, so if the robbers come in, they're getting the Coral Glow. This one would be one that I would declutter. Similar to the last one that I showed you, this is Mineral Rose, which is one of the more pinky purpley ones. It's a little deeper. Honestly, in real life, I probably do want to declutter one of them. I think I might just do a whole palette declutter because I could save it for that video. But yeah, this one would definitely be under consideration for declutter, like in real life. So I would declutter this one. The robber would get this one as well, which again, it's a shame because this does look very pretty on the face, but it's just simply not worth the price that Dior wants to charge us. Next up, we have Early Bird. Honestly, this is one of my least favorite palettes from Dior ever. It just looks so ugly on my eye. See, this is why Dior is a good one, because there actually is a lot that they've launched that I don't like, and this is one of them. The colors I find aren't very cohesive. The quality on this one isn't as great. The robber is getting this one, and honestly, I think in my next palette declutter, I will truly actually be decluttering this one. But it hurts because it's so expensive. Pink Vibration. This is actually a really good one that was limited edition. This came out in 2020 during the vid, but I really enjoyed this collection. I think the quality of these are very, very nice compared to some other things that Dior has put out, and I think these are just really fun for Dior, so I would keep this one. Let's see, Organza. This one is a forgettable one. I honestly needed to open it to see what it looked like. It's not even that great of a formula, and it looks like it would be because the palettes that have the finish like this typically are higher quality, but not this one. There was nothing special about it, nothing unique about it, nothing that stood out about the quality, so I would be decluttering this one. Next up, we have Mitsa. Now, this one is one of the permanent line palettes, and it is gorgeous. Extremely high quality. Seriously, the powders literally blend themselves, so I would definitely be keeping this one. Soft Cashmere. If you know, oh shoot. If you know, you know. I talk about this one all the time when it comes to must-haves from Sephora favorites. This is the one that I'm like always recommending, so I will absolutely be keeping this one no matter what. It's one of my all-time favorite palettes, one of the best everyday neutral palettes. So far I've kept 4 and decluttered 4. Next up we have Pink Corol right here, which is another really beautiful one. Look how vivid the colors are. This one is fun. I definitely want to keep this one. This is the Good of the Dior formula. It's not my all-time favorite from Dior, but this one is definitely worthy of keeping. It's so beautiful. Whether or not it's worth the price is a question mark, but I really do like this one. Vintage Voyage. This one, you know what? I do really like this one. This one looks prettier on the eyes than it does actually in this palette, because when I look at it, it looks bland. But these mattes blend beautifully, and then this is a very subtle shimmer that looks gorgeous all over the eyes. I'm gonna say keep for this one, but I'm gonna put it kind of in the middle, because if I'm really off balance with what I'm keeping versus decluttering, this could potentially be pushed into declutter. We'll see. Okay, I must be in the good section because this is Pink Sakura, which is not very pink, but I love this one. This is another favorite of the Dior palettes of mine. Like this one I would keep over the one that I just showed you. It's definitely a top fiver from Dior for me. It's a shame it was limited edition, but I love this one. This makes me want to buy more Dior coins when I talk about the good ones because I love them so much. So next we have Cruise Look. This one is super duper bland. I was really disappointed with this one, and it looks like it's going to be the good quality, and the quality is not bad, but I don't know, the colors just don't work with each other. They're all kind of the same level of depth, which varying depths is important in a makeup look. So this one was absolutely not worth the money. Would be decluttering this one. And I know you're like, Morgan, why don't you actually declutter these? Because I spent hundreds of dollars on these. That's why. And then I can make videos like these if I keep them. So now we have Blue Velvet, which is one of the nicer palettes, but I do not like blue eyeshadow. I don't wear blue eyeshadow. Now, I know you see me wearing blue in my videos, but that's because I'm testing colors and testing product. I'm doing it somewhat against my will. I don't wear blue leisurely, let's just say that. So if a robber is coming to me, I think I would give him this one. It's a good one. It's actually, in the collection that this launched with, this one was one of my favorite quality-wise. I just don't like blue like that, so I guess I'd declutter this one, but I would not declutter it in a real declutter. Next up, I have Atelier Dore, which looks like this. Okay, so I really like this one. Starting off with the embossment. So this is what gets me with the Dior limited edition collections, is the embossments, but the quality on these limited edition collections really tend to be hit or miss. But this one was definitely a hit. It was from a holiday collection and the quality was very, very nice. So, oh my gosh, now I want to go to Dior and see what else they have because I haven't bought from them in a while. This one was beautiful. I think I like more than I remember. This one is Sprint. It was from that COVID collection that I talked about, and I love this one as well. I wish they would come back out with this. I love the browns, the pink, and the orange. I think it's a unique mix of colors that work really well with one another, and again, I love the embossments. I love the quality. This one is definitely more of the fun ones, and it's neutral, but it also isn't. It's such a good one, super underrated. This collection did not get a lot of attention, but it's amazing. Okay, the keep is definitely outweighing the declutter now. So this one right here is House of Dreams, which is also from that collection that the Atelier palette was from. Atelier Dore, excuse me. Now, the both of them are very, very close. This one's a little bit more cool. You know what? If I need to declutter more, because my robber is not happy, they're both so good though. But the thing was, they both were quite close, and when I reviewed these, I was like, you probably do not need both of these. Oh my gosh, I don't know, because this one has more warmth to it, but I like, okay. Okay, I love cool tones more, but I like the gold in here, so I'd keep this one. And it would kill me because this one is a little bit more cool and pretty, but I don't use silver that often, so I would declutter this one, but I really don't want to. I like it. Next up, we have Blue Beat. This one was from a really fun collection. Honestly, one of the first palettes that I bought for myself from Dior, and I really liked this one. I thought it was super duper fun. The quality was really nice. This was a really good collection. I like to hold on to this to remember what a good collection it was, and it kind of just reminds me of that first time that I bought myself Dior, that I spent a lot of money on myself and on a makeup item. But I would declutter it if necessary, if I had to, because I don't reach for these colors that much. They look gorgeous on the eye, but again, remember how I told you I just don't like blue like that? That's why I would get rid of this. But it would hurt. I would cry about it. I would stay in my dreams at night. Okay, so now we have Mirage. Now, Mirage, this one was very bland on the eyes. It looks so gorgeous, again with the embossments that nobody does quite like Dior. But the shades were quite sheer on the eyelid. I didn't get much definition. The colors looked very similar to one another. I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. You know what? I will declutter this, but that actually leads me to a very good point. Let's take a quick break. Since I keep getting emails in the background, I want to show you guys my new phone case. Look, I got it personalized. It says morganturner makeup. Now, shout out to Caseify because they're sponsoring today's video. Oh my gosh, personal email. Also, do you like my background of my husband? But anyway, shout out to Caseify for sponsoring today's video and sending me this case and this cute phone strap. So Caseify is one of the world's most popular tech accessory brands. So they have cases for all types of phones, iPads, laptops, all of that. And of course, my new phone that I got recently. And the cases are really, really protective because I am so clumsy. You guys see me drop my phone all the time. So they launched this new iPhone 14 Impact series, and so it's going to protect your phone with over 20% increased protection. And even though it's very protective, it remains really, really slim. It literally provides protection for up to a 8.2-foot drop, which is crazy, 4 times the military standard. And you can feel the corners of the sides of the case have some buoyancy to it, so it's not going to completely crack your phone. And the cases themselves are made from 65% recycled and plant-based material. And they have over like 2,000 ranges of custom prints, types of cases, everything. I also have these custom cases as well. So obviously I wanted to get one that said morganturner makeup on it, and then it has the cute outer part, which adds a fun element of color. And I also got this cute phone strap, so that way when I hold it and if I drop it, I can hold on to it, or I can just carry this down the street. It is so cute. So definitely check out Caseify if you want to get a super protective case. They're able to protect phones if you're clumsy like me while keeping a sleek design. And you can customize it however you want. They have so many patterns and colors, and you can write your name, somebody else's name, your favorite quote. You can get them pre-designed for you. You don't need to customize if you don't want to. So yeah, this is my new phone case. And if you follow the link at the top of the screen or in the description box, it will take you over to my top picks. And if you use the code 15morganturner, it will save you 15% off at checkout. So definitely click on the link to check out all of the cute cases that they have to offer. Thank you, Caseify, for sponsoring this portion of today's video. I had a nice break. Let's get into it. We actually are almost done with Dior. So I have one last quint. This one is, I always say this wrong, Popeline? Anyways, this one is so pretty, but honestly, I was underwhelmed by it. It had potential to be so good. I love these pink tones, but it lacked pigment. It just was not the best formula from Dior. It looked gorgeous on the eyes. However, I can find pink shadows that are a lot better than this one. Oh, but looking at it, I still think it's gorgeous. But it definitely needs upgraded and updated in order for me to enjoy it. So I will let my rubber have it. And then finally, these are from the Dior Backstage line, which is a little bit more, I don't know, fun. It's not quite the actual luxury line, and I have 3 different palettes here. So the first one that I have is the khaki, and I think that this one is so pretty. I would definitely be keeping these. Honestly, I'd keep this one over a lot of the quints because obviously you get more colors, but I really enjoy the quality in these as well. I find them to be more consistent, so I'd keep the khaki. And I want to declutter one of these. So we have the cool neutrals and then plum neutrals, which you know how I am about my purples, but I'd probably declutter the plum neutrals here. I used to have the warm neutrals as well, but I give that to my mom, so I actually declutter that one in real life. Pretty, but I don't reach for this one that often. And then I definitely keep the cool neutrals, which is not my favorite quality. I feel like the quality of these have gotten better, but the tone of this is one of my favorites, and a lot of brands don't create colors like this, so I would keep this one because it would be unique to my collection. And again, I just adore this style of palette. So that's that for Dior. We also have a good number over here of Viseart palettes. Honestly, my collection of Viseart is quite large. I don't even know where to begin. I guess we will start off with the larger palettes. Starting off with the Grande Pro Volume 1, which is used and abused, my friend. And no matter what, I will probably have to keep this one because it holds a very special place in my heart, first of all, because I did use this in my makeup kit. I just think it is so gorgeous. It had all of the colors that I need. You can tell I stayed in this area a lot because that's what I used a lot for bridal, a little bit into the plums depending on the flowers and the color of the wedding. But yeah, this has all I need matte-wise from Viseart, so I would be keeping that. Let's do the Grande Pro Volume 2, which is the shimmer version. And honestly, as much as I would want to keep this, I feel like Viseart's weak point is their shimmers. So this is one that I would declutter, unfortunately. I would give this one to the robber because even now I don't find that I reach for this one too terribly often. And then we have Viseart Pro Volume 3, which has all of these fun, colorful matte shades. However, I'm not reaching for these shades as often. I'm more of a neutral girl. If my life depended on it, I'm wearing neutrals. I'm not wearing colors. So the robber would look out on this one because this one is a good one. It's too colorful for me, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna try and organize these maybe by like palette size and collection to really work through these. I feel like it's pretty insane what my collection has grown into. I think I'll start off with this one. This one is the one I don't have anything like, the Liaison palette, and they did do a revamp version of it. They never actually came back out with this, but I swear this one still is better quality. While I did like the revamp, this one is still the best, and it's the best color story. The shimmers are so pigmented, so I would have to keep this. And then let's get into the quads. They've come out with a lot of quads. They come out with like 3 or 4 per collection. So we'll start off with these ones right here that launched, I would say, the most recently. So we have a few. This one is Lavande, which I am absolutely keeping. It is so fun and so tiny. So far I'm keeping like the purple ones. Now Pastille, this one actually is one of my least favorite Viseart quads, if I'm being honest, or palettes in general. The colors just don't work well with one another, so I would get rid of this one. We also have Pesh, which if you watched my review, you know my stance on this. When it comes to Viseart, they have so many peach options, so I would declutter this one. Let's see, I have the Chocolat. This is from one of the first palettes to ever launch in this size. I would declutter this one again because I feel like I have all of these mattes already, especially if I'm keeping that big one. And it's just not that special, but very good quality if you are interested. We have Lapis. This came out during a holiday collection, and there's blues, silvers. This one was really fun for the winter, but as you can probably expect, if my life depends on it, I'm decluttering it because I don't like the colors that much. We also have Framboise, which is like the raspberry one. Very, very cute, but you'll see when we get into the bigger palettes, I do have colors like these already, so I would declutter this. The quads are much easier to get rid of because I like the bigger palettes anyways. This is the Lilas, which is very, very beautiful. It's more on the cool tone side. I find this color story to be more unique as well, so I would keep this one because the colors, there are not a lot of brands that do colors like these. Amelie, this one is so pretty as well. I did not expect to like this one as much as I did, but the quality in here is so extremely special. It ended up being one of my favorite palettes that I've ever used from them, and I was shocked because it doesn't look that special, but it really is. So I would need to hold on to this one. Garnet. This is just the perfect holiday Thanksgiving kind of palette. Oh my gosh, this is reminding me of my parents' house because that's when I got these. I would not hold on to this. I would get rid of this one just because these colors are not that special, but it is a nice palette. Ooh, this one is hard. Peridot. Pretty unique from Viseart. I love the formula. I love how tiny and travel friendly this is. So I would keep this one. This one is more on the unique side. Oh, this one is also really tough. This is Bouillon, or Bouillon, whatever, however you just say it. So gorgeous. The black is amazing. I think I would declutter this because it's 3 shimmers and a black, which I will end up keeping more black in my Viseart collection, as well as I'll have other shimmers similar. So even though as a whole I really like this palette, if it went missing, you know, it wouldn't be a missing piece. Then we have Praline right here, which is just gorgeous. You can see it broke a little bit, but I do really enjoy it. I would probably give this one away because it isn't special color story wise. It's gorgeous on the eyes, great to travel with, but unique, no, especially when you see what other palettes we are working with as I continue to show them. But that was all of the quads. Those were the easiest to declutter, not the biggest battle. So Viseart has revamped their line and they've come out with these petite mattes, right? Which actually they've ended up recreating palettes that were in their old packaging, which these ones are a little bigger. So I have the editorial brights in the petite and the full size. So I would trick my robber, right? And I would keep this one. And I'm keeping this one because I also got rid of the Viseart 3, which is the all matte colorful one. This is a great way for me to have those colorful mattes, but just in a smaller form. And I wouldn't need both of these. So this one would get decluttered and this one I would keep. Same thing here. I have 2 sultry muses, which in reality I honestly could get rid of this older one. This packaging is so nostalgic for me that I've held on to it, but if my life depended on it, I'm keeping the more compact size and then getting rid of the bigger one. I actually did have a bigger size of the warm mattes one right here, but I already decluttered it because I did not need it since I had this one. But these colors are not that unique, especially with the larger Viseart palette volume 1 that I decided to keep. So if life depended on it, this one would go too because it's just not necessary in my collection. I would absolutely be keeping the Paris Nude, which I actually keep this in my little makeup kit that is old and outdated at this point. I should go through that. So I kept this in my makeup kit years ago. I'm not actively doing makeup anymore, but I have like the older packaging of it in my makeup kit. I love this. This was great when I did bridal makeup because it had every lid shade that I needed. It's just a really pretty set of shimmers. A lot of these shimmers were in the quads that I decluttered, so I would keep it. You get so much color options in such a small palette. I love that Viseart revamped these into the new packaging. Sorry if it keeps going blurry. Oh my goodness. And then, is this the last one? Did I declutter my big milieu? I did. So I used to have this in a bigger size, but I did end up getting rid of the bigger size. This is milieu, which also has some really great mattes, but I just don't think I would need them in my collection if I were pretending to be a normal person and not have the collection that I do. So I would declutter this one, but it looks very fresh because I used to use just the bigger version. So this one was new, but we're going to get rid of that. And then we'll get into the older, bigger ones. Starting off. Oh my gosh. This is why I need that phone case. So Bridal Satin is really beautiful. This is one that I've had for a bit and I just don't reach for it very often to begin with. I don't think about it too much. So I could probably get rid of this one without crying. So we'll do a declutter on that one. Then we have Koi, which they actually recently came out with again. This was limited edition. This is the perfect spring palette to me. The colors are great for layering, for mixing with mixing medium, for putting over a black base or any other color. I love this one. I think this one is so special, so I would have to keep Koi. And if you can get your hands on it, by the way, definitely do. It's a great spring palette. So then I have this custom palette of just random shades from Viseart. You can't buy this, but I'd probably get rid of this one. I don't need this one. Ooh, this one I struggle with because it is just so dang good. This is the Cool Mattes 2. Look at that. I know I kept volume 1 of the big one, which has all of these, but I can't get rid of this because Cool Mattes are hard to come by. So I'd keep this one as well as just the OG, what is this, neutral mattes. This one was one of, my foot just got in the way. This one was one of the first ones that Viseart became popular for because it had just all the mattes you need in one place in extreme high quality. So I would have to keep this one for the nostalgia, and the quality is really there. I thought that this one was just a beautiful collaboration. So this is a palette that Alcone and Viseart put together. I bought it at a makeup show a few years back. It really is beautiful. I love the curation, but I would have to declutter this because I don't need it. You've seen what I've kept. But they did do a beautiful job on this collaboration and curating this palette. So thank God this is fake. Okay, we still have some more in different sizes. The sun is starting to go down and my foot is falling asleep. I'm like moving around everywhere to try and get comfortable. But we'll work on the Petit Pro sizes, which are the ultimate travel size if you ask me, because they squeeze in 8 shades in this tiny little thing. So we'll start off with this one, Soleil, which is one of my favorites for summer to get a sunset kind of eye, and it's so tiny. They re-released these last year as well after they were limited edition. I would keep this. This one is one of my favorites. Now, the other one that kind of launched is the Flamingo, which is also a really great summer palette. It has the pink tones, but I've always just loved Soleil more than this one. Not that I didn't love this one, but I could declutter this one and survive. We also have Midsummer, which has never been my favorite. I would travel with this one because it does have those nice muted, cool toned kind of mauve shades. So it was great for travel. It didn't not get used. It didn't get neglected, that's for sure. However, I could get away with like living without this one. So I would give this one to my robber. Which, by the way, I don't mean to make light of that situation. My husband has had the house robbed when he was growing up, so he has trauma from that. Not making light of the situation, but yeah, okay, you know, gotta explain myself on the internet. Next up, we have Apricotine, which is also really gorgeous. Some really great everyday tones. Ooh, I loved this one when it came out, but I haven't used it a lot in the most recent times, and I feel like I've kept a lot of neutrals and a lot of peaches already, so I declutter this one. But this one kind of hurts. Like, I will miss this one. Solstice, I never really was in love with. It's a very pretty color. It has some nice chocolatey tones, but still kind of warm. Nothing special, I ever thought. Nice, good Viseart quality, but nothing special, so I'd declutter that one. We have San Francisco Etoile. This one is such a fun one. Look at these deep tones. I'm gonna press pause. Hold this one here. I'm gonna also look at London Etoile. I'm gonna compare them because this one is also very pretty. You know, it has those plummy tones. But then we also have Paris Etoile. This was such a good collection. Ugh. I can't wait for Viseart to come out with more palettes. Okay, I'd definitely be keeping Paris Etoile because this one is unique. Viseart does not have a lot of palettes like this with this color story, especially like in such a small palette. Yes, so keeping this one. See, I feel like other than this pop of blue, I can get most of these colors in my neutral palette, just like the neutral Bats palette. So I like this one, but I declutter it if necessary. I said I was keeping this one. Go to your spot. And then London Etoile. I've kept purples. There's another purple that I'm staring at already that I know I'm going to keep. So sorry, London. I love you though. Then the next size that we have from Viseart is the Edit palettes. These are also a really great size for travel because they hold 12 shades. So this one right here, Spritz, I would probably give away. It doesn't have colors that I'm using on an everyday basis. It doesn't excite me. The thing with these Viseart palettes is, for the most part, they're all very nice. There's a reason I continually buy Viseart. It's just a matter of what's worth the color story. What is the best curation? So like this one, Paris Edit, it's one of my all-time favorites from Viseart. And I've probably kept other colors from them in this video, but this one is one of my favorite curated palettes. I love reaching for this one when I have the opportunity and time to. So I would keep that one. Oh my gosh, are these colors like exploding? The Viseart shadows are very, very soft, so you do need to be careful. Warm Edit. So this one is just like the perfect warm palette, but I've never really been in love with this one, even though it has like every color you would need for a look. Very well rounded, but would get rid of that one. This one, Rose Edit. Gorgeous. Doesn't spark joy in me though in this current time. Don't feel the need to hold on to it if I, like, you know, take it. Dark Edit right here. I would keep this one. This one is really unique and it has particularly good quality from Viseart. These shimmers are, this is like the perfect Halloween palette in my opinion. It's such a unique palette. Would definitely keep this one. Now we have the Etendu palettes, which are smaller in pan size than these guys, but bigger than all of the ones that I just showed you that were tiny. So these are like the good size if you are going to use these palettes every day. So we're going to start off with Kashmiri, which is a good one to start off with because I love this one. This one is so romantic. You have one side that's neutrals, one side that's a little bit more mauve-y. This is one of my favorite curations that they've come out with, and the quality is great. I loved this palette when it came out, so I would absolutely keep that one. Now this one is probably one of my least favorite palettes from Viseart. This is the Paris Love Letter. It has exploded everywhere. I found the shades to be pretty inconsistent in quality, so this one actually was not my favorite. I would declutter that one. I'd honestly consider decluttering it in real life. We have Viseart, which is so fun, so unique. And if I had done this video earlier, I probably would have kept this one, but time has told that I don't reach for jewel-toned colors like this very often. And I want to keep it because it has jewel-toned colors and I want them in the Viseart formula. But realistically, I won't be missing this one if it went, so bye. Crying about it a little though. It would be a tough separation. Viseart does the best purples, which is why I'm keeping all of the purple shades like Violet Etendu, which was supposed to be like the first palette that I talked about, the Liaison. It's not as good as Liaison, but it still is a very good purple palette. Love this one. Have very few from other brands who will touch this color story. So keeping this one. And then we're on the very last palette for today's video, which is, oh my gosh, Viseart does not make these good for people who can't pronounce French words. La Marais Etendu. And honestly, they sent this to me in a big package with 8 other palettes. And I don't think I've used this more than once. That's embarrassing to admit. It's very pretty, but I feel as though I've had and shared other Viseart palettes that kind of have this color story. So I guess I would get rid of it, but I just love the size of these Etendus. Anyways, let me do the countdown and I will share with you how we did. So as I'm putting the Viseart away, I'm going to tell you the stats, which I am proud of myself. So I'm organizing these by size, by the way, but I decided in this video to keep 18 Viseart palettes, which, you know, not necessary, but that's the number that came out. And then in terms of decluttering, getting rid of 29 palettes. That is much better than I thought because I'm pretty attached to my Viseart palettes, but if necessary, I felt I could get rid of 29. But the reason for that being, I kept the bigger palette, which kept me at bay with mattes and really, really happy about the mattes. And then, you know, Viseart, I love you. I do. Your quality is phenomenal. However, you come out with a lot of repetitive color stories. Like, it is what it is. You do. Which some people love. I still buy them. I'm not that bothered by it. But in terms of like having to be a realistic person, I'm gonna have to declutter a good amount if I don't want to have too many repetition. It's easier to get rid of palettes that I know I already have colors like from the brand and the brand formula. So keeping 18, getting rid of 29, that's actually a lot more successful than Dior, which I will share with you. Now, the Dior numbers. I decided to keep 11 of my Dior palettes. So I could not absolutely say goodbye to 11 and then split right down the middle because I decluttered 11 as well. So I am in love with half of my Dior collection pretty much, and then I'm not in love with the other half. So 11 and 11 on that. I would say in a situation, if I had to get rid of my Viseart versus Dior easily, I'm saying goodbye to Dior. I just feel like Viseart has one of the absolute best formulas ever, and their palettes are just more easy to use. The Dior is definitely more themed, whereas Viseart puts a lot of thought about what colors are going together, what's going to be the most useful. So I prefer Viseart, one, for the formula, which is much more efficient and better quality, and consistent as well. Dior is very inconsistent. The Dior is just a luxury, whereas functionally, Viseart's much, much better. But I decided to do both of these brands today because they share the same drawer. But yeah, that's over half. Over half of this drawer would go if it needed to, but luckily, it does not need to. And yes, I had to sit on the floor for all of that, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it entertaining, just talking about all of the Viseart and Dior palettes that I own. And again, a huge thank you to Caseify for sponsoring today's video. I do have a code if you would like to shop their new Impact series. It's just so dang cute. I love this. Anyways, thank you Caseify for sponsoring today's video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.